if they choose to take it to the next level, that the expense is theirs regardless. Yes, okay.
On the Southwest Lagoon, I mentioned back in November that we had our inspection through the state, and everything, for the most part, came back fine. I do have that in writing now, and basically what it says is, for the most part, the lagoon's operating as it should at this time that they were there. Now, the only time that we were, if I remember right, the only time that we've been in violation is on the wool and grease from in that lagoon. In a lagoon, you're tied to, there's nothing you can do about it. In other words, you hope it clumps together and falls down, or sinks. If it doesn't, then it goes on out your effluent, and it shows up, and then you're in a violation. And then what they want you to do is to explain to them what you're going to do to get back into compliance. That's where, this is where Sandy comes, or the codes enforcement comes in. Basically what would happen, if I have a problem, is we'll have to start trying to find where the oil and grease came from, which, and I'm not picking on the school, but the school is there. There's several of the schools go there, as well as the nursing home goes there. Now, no one does anything, and I understand that, but the oil and grease comes from somewhere. So what we would do is I'd ask Sandy to visit those places and check their grease traps. If they don't have grease traps, there's ordinances in effect that they have to put one in if we determine that they need one. The school always works well with us, and so does the nursing home. But it's coming from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. But like I say, for all intent and practical purposes, the lagoon's okay. As far as the acid wash of the wells, number 2 well was drilled in 1997 or 1996, 97. It was put in by, or drilled by Broadkey Engineering. Number 1 was put in by Lane Western back in 1983. I've said over and over and over that the wells will not last forever. Usually 15 to 20 years is tops for them. Our wells, we began to pump them in 97. I think it was 97 when we took over. Number 2 well, this is the 3rd time that we've acid washed it. Now, what goes on in an acid wash is, if you can imagine, the bottom part of your well has got rock in it, and you've got a screen in it, and all that stuff stops up with iron, that we have such big amounts of iron. Now, when it starts to stop up, then your water can't flow into your well to replenish itself as fast. Over a period of time, you can never get that back. Once you lose, whatever you lose, you can't gain it. So we have had to acid wash this well for, this is the 3rd time. And what I'm basically saying is your well is beginning, we're not ready to hang it up yet, but we had been putting money back to put in a new well, and we're going to have to put in a new well. Not tomorrow, but it's something that we need to move on pretty quick. And that's, the acid wash brought the well back to about what it was in 2007. So it had like a 29% increase from where it was in June when we first tested it. But
when you say pretty quick, what do you mean by pretty quick? You said that tomorrow, but pretty quick.
Well, I'm saying that's something that we need to start giving thoughts to.
What type of cost are we looking at?
I'm sorry?
Cost.
About $300,000, and that's not counting your engineering. I'm just talking the well. And number one, and why it's that way, number one, we have, and I hate to say this, because it'll start happening, but number one's been doing pretty well, all along.
How many times have you had to perform the acid wash
On number
number
one?
one? Why do you suppose that number two's functioning?
Part of it could
differently?
be the way that the well was drilled, and what the bottom is, how much rock, what kind of rock,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And see, that was already done. We basically, Brodke just put a pump in. The well was already drilled at that time.
Can this be?
You want me to talk about the snow removal, or Mike, you want to?
Or is it already included in that? The bill?
So what length of time was in between, you said it was acid wash 3 times, what length of time was in between?
Last time we did it was 2007, and we just did it this past month.
Like 3 years.
Well, yeah, and so the time is getting shorter, and the well is not producing it like it had been. So we're losing ground. And I'm not saying that tomorrow it's gonna collapse, I don't mean it that way, but we found out in June that we have it tested every year. 4 wells are tested every year to compare this year to last year's, to see how it's doing, so that we get a jump on something. I put it off from June, I knew about it in June, but I put it off until I could actually budget money for it in equipment repair and maintenance. Plus $9,350 estimates. Yeah. So anyway, I got it taken care of. I think it was last month, but I didn't get the stuff in writing until just a few days ago.
You said you got 29% of the capacity back. You said you got 29% of the capacity
We got
back.
29% back from what it was in June.
And what is that of its original capacity, or?
Well, okay. At the beginning, it was 202.1 gallons per minute per foot of drawdown. And it came back to 222 gallons per minute per foot of drawdown. Basically what drawdown is how long it takes the well to replenish itself. In other words, when the well's at rest, it's called static level. And so when it has the well depth, the water depth in it. Whenever you turn your pumps on, then it'll suck it down. And that's called the pumping level. And the difference in those is called the drawdown. And then whatever your flow is, you divide that out, and that tells you what your specific capacity is. So that's probably where again, but that's what basically what your drawdown is, and that's what you go off of, just to how well your wells do. We usually try to do our drawdowns every time that we change. After meter reading day, we change wells, we alternate the wells, and I always try to get a static at that time, usually about the same time every day, so that I can have something I can look at.
Question, on your number, your original number was 202, correct?
Pardon me?
Your original number was 202?
Yeah, if I'm reading this right, it says, prior to treatment, well number 2 on average had a specific capacity 200.1 gallons per minute per foot of drawdown.
Okay, so that was prior to treatment, it was 202. After treatment, it's 222.
After treatment, it was 222 gallons per minute
Okay,
per foot of drawdown.
what was the original capacity of the well?
I'd have to go back into the files to find out what
Is
that
that,
was.
I got the impression that's what Alderman Bellington was asking.
I'm sorry?
I got the impression that's what Alderman Bellington was asking. What was the original capacity?
Oh, I
of the
don't know
well?
what the original number was at the very beginning.
'Cause-
Not without going back in the,
Yeah, and I think, and the reason why we're asking that is we're trying to figure out, based upon when the well was drilled, how much capacity have we actually lost?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And so if.
Now, with number one, it actually got better. So after, because it sat there all that time, you know, but we did the drawdown at the very beginning, and then as we kept running the well, it started to do better and better and better. But then it reached this spot here, and it actually going down some, but not near as much as that number two. If you have to ask your question, in another couple of years, that's telling you again that you've got problems there, whatever reason. Yeah.
Could you let us know what the original capacity?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. The next item is the four-way stop sign update.